In this screencast, we will be giving you a brief introduction to WSO2 ESB. We will demonstrate how the main sequence proxy services and REST APIs work with the WSO2 ESB. First, we need to download the latest release of WSO2 ESB. To do this, go to the WSO2 website and navigate to the Enterprise Service Bus option through the Products Middleware Platform menu. Now, download the binary. We have downloaded the zip file of WSO2 ESB 4.8.1. We need to extract the zip file. Now we have extracted the WSO2 ESB 4.8.1. To start off with the product, we will run the first sample of WSO2 ESB. For that, you have to go to the documentation page of the latest version and click on Samples. Sample 0 is the first sample that gives an introduction to the ESB. This explains how the main sequence works. Inside the main sequence, there are two other sequences, the in sequence and the out sequence. When a message comes to the main sequence of the ESB, it will be dispatched to the in sequence, and the ESB will send the message out to the backend by reading the corresponding addressing properties of the message. When a response comes from the backend, it will go to the out sequence, and then the ESB will send the response back to the client. We have defined two log mediators in the in sequence and the out sequence to log all the attributes of the message passing through. Now let's run sample 0 of WSO2 ESB. We have to go to the bin folder and run the special script for samples. Once you start the WSO2 ESB, you need to go to the Management Console and log in with admin credentials, username admin and password admin. First, go to the source view and look at the configuration. We have defined a sequence named main that has the in sequence and the out sequence as explained earlier. Now let's run the backend for this sample. In the documentation for sample 0, we have explained how to run the simple stock quote service on an Access2 server as the backend. You will have to go to samples/Access2 server directory and deploy the simple stock code service using AND. The simple stock code service has now been deployed in the Access2 server. Now let's run the Access2 server as the backend. The Access2 server will run on port 9000 for HTTP and port 9002 for HTTPS. We now need to send the request to the ESB. For that, we have the Access2 client. We have given the command that needs to be used to send the request in the documentation for sample 0. In this request, we have given the URL for this backend as the address URL. The request will be sent to the ESB that will be running on port 8280. Once you send the request, you can see that a log has been printed in the backend. The two log mediators that we defined for the in sequence and the out sequence will print the logs on standard out for WSO2 ESB. You can see here that the client has received the correct response from the backend. In this part, we looked at how the main sequence works for WSO2 ESB. In the next video, we will be looking into how a proxy service works. Thank you.